Now he gets this performance. I can't imagine what practice is going to look like this week. It's going to be old school to a T.
Yeah, it'll be intense, but sometimes that's good this time of year. You get in the monotony of camp. Sometimes this is the wake-up call you need to get back going.
That is certainly the case, and hopefully it is a wake-up call. Difference maker of the game, Eric. I got to give it to Cameron Klein. Brought to you by Independent Health, well beyond insurance. Had the big fumble recovery that set up the first touchdown. Had a sack. Made some plays, man, and he flashed last week.
All right.
Cameron Klein is coming on.
He is. He's a guy that makes plays, and he
Let's turn him off.
Off the edge. I like his game.
Yeah. So, look, not the prettiest.
Yeah, not the prettiest performance by the Bills. Sorry, this is my first time to go live, so I still had the Bills broadcast on. But the Bills and the Steelers just finished their preseason game, and it wasn't very pretty for the Bills. Ended up being 27-15. So they made it look somewhat respectable at the end. But let's just talk about the things that we talked about in the video the other day of things that we were looking for in this game. So we started off with we wanted to see less penalties, especially pre-snap penalties. And yeah, that didn't go very well at all. That was probably the worst thing about this game. 12 penalties in the first half alone. And a lot of them pre-snap penalties. I mean, I know it's not a penalty, but my goodness, we only lined up 10 guys on the very, very, very first play. So that's going to show you that something needs some work when we can't even get the right amount of players out on the field for the very first play. Quentin Morris, what are you doing? You're supposed to be out there. And then he comes out and a couple plays later has one of those pre-snap penalties with a false start. So yeah, that's not good. The offense, we were going to look for a running game. And with that, we needed some blocking on the offensive line. Didn't really see much of a running game today. I guess Murray had maybe one or two really good runs. Offensive line struggled on run blocking. They tried to run up the middle. Not against that Steeler defense. I give credit to the Steelers. They were ready to play today. They came out and played. The Bills didn't look ready. All right. The other thing we wanted on offense. Oh, boy. We wanted to see what our two new weapons could do. So there's a good thing. Because our two new weapons are Trent Sherfield and Dalton Kincaid. Sherfield had a long catch that he got lit up, and he was the one that got up flexing. So that was good. And Dalton Kincaid had several nice plays today. Several nice gains. So, yeah, there's some good things to come out of the game. There's one good thing on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, well, we wanted to see how our middle linebacker was going to play is one of the things we said. And we wanted it to be a dominant performance, not just a so-so or, yeah, he did all right. Well, you know what? That's what I would say was today. Yeah, they did all right. They rotated Dodson and Klein in at middle linebacker. Looked like every 2 series they were giving them to play out there. And, they helped give up the long run because they weren't in there for the tackle. The 60-some-yard run in the first quarter that went for a touchdown. And then ball up the middle. Linebacker's got to be there to make that play. And Freiermuth caught it for a big gain. So, yeah, I think as the game went along, they seemed to play a little bit better. But you also have to remember that as the game went along, the Steelers started to play less of their players. Less of their starters and went down their depth charts. So maybe linebacker play got better just because the Steelers players weren't quite as good. So, yeah, we got that. So I don't know what's going to go on with Dodson and Klein, Balin Spector. I will say Williams played pretty good at the other outside linebacker position. I liked Williams as a rookie. I thought he had a good performance. I think he led the team in tackles again this week that he did last week as well. So we like that. And I'm trying to find some things that we got to like out of this performance because it wasn't a good one. It's not what the Bills were expecting. It's not what fans were expecting. I know it's a preseason game, so let's not get too upset or too worried. The other thing we wanted to see was Elam and Benford. We didn't want any pass interference penalties from those guys. Well, Benford got one early, and Elam got one as well. I think Elam may have had a couple. So, yeah. That didn't go well either. But, oh boy. Some of the younger guys, let's talk about that. Because some of the young guys did look good. I thought Klein had a great game at defensive line. Hadn't really seen much of that before. But he really looked good today. Jonathan Kingsley had a sack and looked really good. So I'll give it to those two guys as the younger players. I'm going to give Defensive Player of the Game to Kingsley. I thought he was all over the field and looked really good. I hope he can make the team this year. As last year, he wasn't on the practice squad. And then Chicago nabbed him up, and then the Bills were able to bring him back on the team. So hopefully we can just keep him this year because I do like Jonathan Kingsley. On the offensive side of the ball, the star was Kincaid. He had several nice catches and a really good game. So give it to Dalton Kincaid. A little worried that Dawson Knox didn't play in the game because he did have a finger problem, apparently. I don't know if he broke his finger or bruised his finger or what happened to his finger, but he didn't play because of it. And then the bad news of a preseason game is that sometimes injuries happen, and I feel bad that Tommy Doyle was injured during the game. Last year, he fought back from that right knee injury. He had to have surgery on his right knee and missed almost all the season after the Dolphins. He missed the whole season after the Dolphins game. And, you know, I feel really bad for him, but this was his left leg that they had the air cast on. And when they took him back in a cart. So, yeah, that wasn't happy, obviously, to see Tommy Doyle get hurt. Love Tommy Doyle. He's such a nice guy. He's one of those guys that practices hard every day and then makes sure he make time for the fans too. As he goes around and talks to people and signs autographs for them. And he's just really, really a good guy. And I hate it when a good guy gets injured. But looks like he's going to have maybe surgery, rehab. I don't know. I mean, it's not good when you put an air cast on your leg and take you off in a cart. So, not happy with that. So, next week, the Bills have another preseason game, and hopefully they look better than they did this week. It's hard for a Bills fan to see them play that badly as they did today. But I'll give you another player that did play well. Boogie Basham, I thought he had a good game. Greg Rousseau had a good game. You know, it wasn't all awful. Alec Anderson at center looked really good to me. Again. Oh, and at the end of the game, Shorter had a nice touchdown and several nice catches. So maybe we can start seeing the emergence of Justin Shorter now, as we didn't really see him in the first preseason game. But this game, they made an effort to get him the ball and get him more involved. So hopefully we could see him out there. But, yeah, I hope things go better next week. That's my instant analysis on the game. I'm sure Coach McDermott's not going to be happy with those penalties. I know 100% he's not going to be happy with lining up with 10 people for a play. He's talked about that before. I've seen it in training camp. And being involved with a semi-pro professional team before, that is a pet peeve when you can't even get the right amount of players out on the field. That's awful. You know, if you can't even start the play because you don't have enough people on the field, or, well, I mean, they did start the play. They got a completion to Kincaid, even though they didn't even have enough receivers on the field. And then you have so many penalties. I mean, those pre-snap penalties, I mean, especially Spencer Brown, false start and a block in the back afterwards too. I mean, I don't know, it's not pre-snap, but it hurt a lot. So, yeah, they've got some work to do this week. And I hope the starters play next week because they've got to look better than that before we go into to face the New York Jets on week 1. Because if they look like that on week 1, it's not going to be a fun game in New York for anybody involved with the Bills. So, with that, I know that it's just preseason. Remember that. It's just preseason. So, now you've heard my spill. I see that Josh Allen is live on the mic, so I'm going to go hear what he has to say now. But remember, God loves you. God does love you. And so do I.